Hello one and all, and welcome to episode 26 of the Contest Round podcast. This edition is entitled All Is Not Fair in Love and Alliance War. Very clever title. But if you want to listen to this podcast on different types of platforms, we are available on SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes. And obviously, if you're listening on YouTube, then you're listening on YouTube, and there are other methods to listen to the podcast, but we appreciate you wherever you're listening to. And it's a great thing to learn is that when people are listening to the podcast, obviously it's a long form based show, you will be playing the game. So that's really what we encourage, is just to play along, have it with your arena grind, have it where you're grinding content, just to be there, something to listen to people who would just cling on to life and Marvel Contest of Champions. And on that positive note, I bring in my co-host of the Contest Round podcast, Dan, Frontline MCOC. You can catch him on www.frontlinemcoc.home.blog. Links are always in the bio. And obviously on Friday nights when we do our special Incursions deep dive. Dan, welcome.
Hey, Rich.
Hello.
I don't know that I'm clinging to life in the game. I think I'm doing a little better than that this week.
Yeah,
it's been a bumpy week, but yeah, I think I'm doing a little better than that.
I don't know why I did that. I thought maybe create a little bit of suspense very early on into the podcast.
Oh yeah.
You can't really clickbait, ear bait. I don't know,
ear bait
people into the podcast. Yeah, so this is going to be a very kind of interesting edition, as it always is each week. We're going to be talking about our Incursions champ. We're going to be talking about Sabretooth synergy situation, Alliance Wars matchmaking, and epic modifiers. There has been a slight update on that one from Friday, which we probably will cover in this edition. Yeah, it's just been a very quiet week. Dan, we're kind of in limbo, aren't we? Just waiting for stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of the community is in limbo with regards to content right now, because we're close to the boss rushes. We're close to Variant 5. We don't know when to expect the Summer of Pain, but none of those things are here quite yet. So we're all just waiting a little bit for the big stuff to come out.
Yeah, I know Kabam Mike responded back to Seaton, I think saying, and also Kabam John responded back to Seaton on Twitter saying this is, in the next month, everything's going to really ramp up with activity. I mean, for me, it's cool. I wanted an extended period of time where I could finish doing some content, kind of figure out where I'm at with the game, what I'm doing next. And I'm actually making more inroads because I'm not I'd say it's not really crazy, but I'm not at a point where I'll just rush into it. I rush into content. It's only been the last 2 months I've picked up an Awakened Aegon, an Awakened Nick Fury. So for me,
you've got the firepower now.
Yeah, I've got the firepower, and that's the thing. I'm now going to gather some units, which I'm doing at the moment. Then I'm going to see what I get with my next 5 stars. These class crystals are going to be incredibly important, because that could be my opportunity to get my Void Awaken naturally, or get a Human Torch for the first time, and then consider that I'm in a strong position to do Abyss of Legends, and that's the kind of the next target, as well as going back and 100% in 6.2 next month. It's either going to be one or the other, based on obviously champion boss fight coming, the champion boss fight change coming, and several other factors as well. Because I suppose you'll be doing that, won't you? 100% in 6.2.
Yeah. I'm starting to chip away at the Mr. Sinister chapter right now, because I actually have now I have Heimdall and I have Hela. So my G-Hulk can just destroy that Mr. Sinister. And I also have expiring revives with nothing else to use them on. So I might as well put them to work somewhere. And the only somewhere there is right now for me is Act 6.2. So working on that a little bit. And I'm very much in the same boat that you are with Abyss, where I am saving all of my 5-star crystal shards for these 5-star dual class crystals, because I don't have Aegon, I don't have Human Torch, and I don't have Dr. Doom. So, but the nice thing is, at least Human Torch and Doom will be in the same crystal, because it's going to be a Mystic Science. So that's going to be big for me as to when I can actually get in the Abyss. As how is my dual class crystal RNG.
Yeah.
But I'm not too fussed about that. I'll get to Abyss when I have the champions. I'll get to it, but I am starting to think about it a little bit. But like you said, there's some more stuff coming this week. We've got the last week of Canadian difficulty, and then next week on July 29th, that is when the first week of the boss rush starts.
That's true.
So it's coming.
Yeah, I haven't really caught up too much with the Northern Expeditions. I can't remember what I was doing.
Labyrinth for Legends. Too.
I did. I think it's because I decided 100% Labyrinth for Legends over.
Well, yeah, that'll eat up some time.
Yeah, I did it over. I think it was a case I did it over 4 days. I did 5 paths over 4 days.
Whew.
And that was pretty. One of the good things is I did a lot of the recording of the footage. I know a lot of people said like, oh, could you have streamed it? So what I did was I created it as videos, like recorded a lot of them. Maybe it's been a one shot, maybe it's been like 2 revives or something. And then I decided, well, I'll take all that clippage and create it into videos because, if I choose to use the video of me in the bottom right hand corner, it just doesn't. It means I'll have to either redo Labyrinth Legends again to then showcase the footage, or I've got all this footage. I've got like hours of footage which I can now create into like videos. I could do like a complete one take of all like the fights, or maybe just a little pop up of like I don't know, like a tip with that particular fight. Or I'm going to play about with a few ideas with it.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean that's probably the reason why. Abyss I will probably stream, as I don't know if it's one of these things where you can just go, oh, here's a guide to Abyss of Legends, because it's like I don't know if it varies, if it's kind of worth putting it anyway. If there's one shot there, then I guess brag post. Anyway, whatever. let's get into our kind of like stories. But it's good to find out like where we're both at in the game. I did
absolutely,
did a targets video, but I know, and I think we both know what we're up to.
Oh yeah.
So this week our Incursions champion was Bishop.
That's right.
And we did the stream of that on Friday. By the way, every Friday, myself and Dan, through our respective channels, will do a stream which will showcase it. It was a really interesting, actually more enjoyable champion than I thought it was going to be.
I agree, yeah. It was a bit of an eye-opener for me because I haven't played Bishop that much, and you and I both have unduped 6-star rank 1 Bishop, so we had an even playing field as far as power level there.
Yeah. I think the limitations are really with the buffs you come across, because the hacks you come across, because sometimes the boss hacks seem to be better than some of the other ones, or some of the lower ones.
Right, because he can't do bleed damage. Yeah. You would need to get the boss hack before you could boost up the shock damage or incinerate damage, although I think there is a way to get some incinerate damage if he's duped.
Yeah. I think that one of the biggest things is that a lot of the time I seem to be seeing Fury enhancements, or not attribute boost, but like just like not attack enhancements, but like buff enhancements that are specifically either the potency of Fury or have Fury in the mix of them, which is slightly annoying unless you kind of run a Heimdall synergy in with him in order to benefit that. But again, kind of it points you to only having Heimdall and either Angela and Hela. Is that correct?
Yeah. Heimdall with Angela or Hela.
Yeah, so that kind of like it restricts, but there's a lot on offer, like the prowess boosting, the attribute boosts that you get, buff reinforcement, attack enhancing specials. There's a whole
special refund. I think is big with him.
Yeah,
since he's all about power control. Anything you can do to boost his special attack or reduce his cost for his specials is huge.
And it was kind of cool to because I ran Storm Pyramid X with Bishop. The on the plus side, there was the generating a power gain buff, which myself and Dan both love buff cornucopia, don't we? So that was the opportunity for me to gain a buff, therefore triggering buff cornucopia, therefore then getting some extra buff with it. So that was nice to have.
Yeah.
I think the healing was quite nice, and I was experimenting with that. I think going from 20% at one stage to 50%, but we had a lot of like internet issues. And also our Discord went down.
Yeah.
Always seems to happen to us as well. Like Discord goes down. There's been a lot of connection problems. But it was like that champion, I'd say Awakened, rank 2, 6-star, even a rank 5.
You could do some work.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot more sustainable than I expected.
Yeah, I think.
Because he does have that blade-like mechanic where you can hold block and heal if you have prowess.
And it was nice to go into like a next fight, like have all that, the persistent charge element of going like, right, I've got an SP3, and then I've gone from like one fight to the next fight, and then I'm able to like boom straight into it. I think the issue was very early on, prior to any kind of substantial like buff enhancements, like prowess enhancements. The issue was me. We tried that thing of going, okay, well, the enemy is as part of the kit. If you go into the next fight, the champion is full health. You throw the SP3, you get a boost in your special attack damage. And it was just like I was expecting. I was there like, oh, rubbing my hands, like, oh yeah, Dan's gonna be amazing, huge damage. And oh, right,
nope.
No,
nope,
not there. But again, that maybe goes back to like, should I have waited until I was a bit further on? Attack enhanced specials, should have had that on, but still we had a blast with that champion. I think.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's great using these champions that you don't get the chance to play around with in regular content, and then you start to see a value to them. So
yeah,
I'm having fun with the Incursion series.
Yeah, it's something that I think it's nice. It's different. Because I don't see anybody else regularly doing. I don't think anybody really does. I think that there was somebody on the forums that talked about the idea that they were doing an Incursions series. But I mean, from us, it's not a case of like competition. It's all about looking at viability, and just
it's all about exploration and science.
Exactly, because that's the thing. There's gonna be that one champion we pick up on, and we're like, right, if we then find a good mix with it, and then go into sector 7, is then going, well, what champion is number 1, less effort, number 2, gathers some incredible hacks and makes it literally the god tier of Incursions. And because it's not going to be a case of going, oh right, well, it's your Aegon, your normal god tiers are going to be that for that mode. It's going to be a case you're going to look elsewhere and find some surprises. So that's what I want to find. I want to find that diamond in the rough.
Absolutely. So who's going to be next week?
I think it's going to be Hyperion, and I think we're going to go into we might try sector 7, because I think we both need resources.
Yeah, sure.
By the way, everybody, what's the cap, Dan? Is it 55k for dark artifacts?
It is 55k, yes.
I'd say, look, myself and Dan have discussed this.
I'm at 46 right now.
Nice.
I didn't realize I was that high up. Getting close.
I'm 27k, but we're both starting to save up for the improved Dark Artifacts store. But it's not going to say that we can't guarantee that Kabam are going to massively improve it. But it's just a volume of 6-star shards they may or may not be putting into that store at a later date, because they have said that's what they're going to do. But you can live and hope on that situation.
Oh yeah,
and hopefully more stuff is going to be announced soon, because even though it's going to be a bit of a quiet week, we should hopefully expect in the next 2 weeks. I mean, we already know, and maybe that's something to kind of lead us into a story now, which I forgot to kind of like put into the episode notes. I don't know if you've put it in notes. The 2 new champions that have been teased.
Oh, right. Yeah, we just got the big tease. It looks like the herald for next month is Airwalker, and he'll be joined by Dragon Man.
Yeah. I got mixed feelings about this. I mean, we spoke to a few sources that gave us the kind of, the tease that we could be seeing something like Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I've always kind of thought that Cosmic Ghost Rider fits in quite well. I kind of feel like now I've wasted a bit of time to kind of go, oh no, it's not Cosmic Ghost Rider. So I'm a little bit sad, but
the year's not over yet.
No, exactly. And Kabam, Sphinx, and Gabe have both confirmed that we could, and I think or maybe like we are going to see that champion in the future. And this leads me to something. Oh yeah, and obviously Airwalker's coming in as well. I don't know, Dan, this theory that we are heading towards maybe end of book 2, maybe but more than likely starting book 3 will be the War of the Heralds.
Ooh.
The only reason
that would be a nice big narrative.
Yeah, I just feel like with Galactus being like, it's been slowly pushed. I mean, it was 2009.
Real slow burn on this.
Yeah, I think that for me feels like it would need to go in that, not need to, but it feels like it could go in that direction because we've been adding more heralds, Airwalker, not I can't remember what the other is, like fire something or other.
Oh, there's Firelord.
That's
there's Stardust.
Yeah.
There's a bunch.
Oh, there is
still out there. Yeah.
I mean, one of the newest is one of my favorites. I mean, I love the Thor series. I've been quite vocal on it. I don't actually want to see a Stormbreaker version of Thor. I mean, if you know why, I mean, I can go into details about that because basically there is a version of Thor which is a Herald of Galactus. Stormbreaker Thor is not Stormbreaker. It's not Thor with Stormbreaker. That's an MCU thing. It's Dan, about the Golden Hammer thing. We've talked about this to death.
Well, that's a Beta Ray Bill thing.
That's a Beta Ray Bill thing. Yeah, and that's the thing. If it's kind of like referred to as Stormbreaker Thor, it's just like, well, hang on, he's meant to have Stormbreaker, but Stormbreaker's the kind of the Golden Hammer thing. That's associated with Beta Ray Bill. We don't have Beta Ray Bill in Marvel Contest of Champions. But then if we had one of my favorites, which is the Unworthy Thor, wielding the proper battle axe called Yamborn, and having that kind of that link in, brings the more opportune idea of a Beta Ray Bill coming into the game. Anyway, done that to death. All I was really was meant to say was there's a Herald version of Thor. So I'd love the idea of like a Herald's War in game, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool, but honestly, I am an X-Men guy at heart, and I'm waiting for Professor X to show up in September with a couple of buffed Magnetos in tow, and hopefully maybe another classic X-Men villain, or there's plenty of great X-Men that are not in the game yet.
Yeah, that September is going to be massive because we've got Cavalier difficulty.
That's right.
We should
Huge month.
Yeah, we should be by then having an idea of how the well, maybe that will be the early start point of teaser of like how Act 6 is going to be retuned, possibly.
We should be getting close by that time.
Yeah, I mean, don't quote me on that, but the fact is, it seems like it's I assume that as of now, the group that's going to do the testing of Act 6, or kind of I can't remember what they called them, the
pain points.
The pain point posse, that's it.
Yeah, the pain point posse.
The pain point posse.
It's the Marvel Contest of Champions PPP program.
PP. Anyway, right. I need to grow up. PP. Okay. Right. Sabretooth synergy situation.
Sabretooth.
This started off our week, really.
Yeah. Started off hot. I mean, it really was over the weekend, which I think was part of the issue last weekend. It's kind of bubbled up over the weekend, and Kabam doesn't tend to respond as much over the weekend, so things got a little bit crazy until they got back to the office on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, this was a bit of a weird one from many people's perspective. I mean, from my perspective, this was like from the content creator beta, which allows us to create a lot of the videos and content, and now it's really changed so we can really explore synergies and kind of like look at other things with testing champions out, which is cool.
It's super cool. Yeah.
Obviously, with this situation was like, I mean, for me, I decided to take a little break. I took about 3-4 days off, which was the time that I then did Labyrinth of Legends whilst having that time off while dealing with, just life and stuff. I didn't get a chance to make a video on Sabretooth, so I thought, well, we'll just, see what's kicking with everyone. But it just like really kind of blew up. Really annoying though, because I was like, oh man, I've just got one more path to do Labyrinth of Legends, and it's like this champion now can ramp up this damage excessively. Not exactly the most feasible way of an early.
Yeah, you're gonna spend to get it.
Yeah,
but I mean that was part of the fun of it being in the beta, though. So maybe we should back up a little bit and explain that this was the first time that we as CCP members had our own beta to test out the new champions for the month. Normally, we're issued rank 3 5-star champions as long as you're Cavalier. And they're rank 3, they're awakened, they're Sig 200, and they're on our accounts for a limited amount of time. So that's normally what we get, but now we've got the CCP beta, so they can give us a 5-star and a 6-star and all the resources to rank them up and test them at whatever level. So we get them at unawakened at rank 1, and then we can bring them up as high as we want to test them, because you know, with most people with these new champs, if you popped a rank 3 6-star Sig 200 on their account, well, their prestige is going up and it's impacting the competitive landscape. So you couldn't do that. But now we've got everything's off the live servers, so we can just test them out anywhere, which is really, really exciting and cool. And I enjoyed a lot because it took the pressure off. I was like, oh, like I'm gonna have to spend energy resources, or what if I need to revive? Like it's all off in its own area now, which is great.
That was one of the issues that I had, was when I was testing out all these champions, I was like spending like maybe about 100 plus units a time, my own energy and stuff like that. So it's not it's not completely fair, and that's such a good point about we don't really want to like cause any issue by if I. Yeah, like on my account, rank, as you said, if I rank 3 at 6-star, it will more than likely put it at the top of my roster. I mean, it's just theoretically putting it out there. Right. And if it does that, it then means if I'm about to start, and we get that beta for a certain amount of time, if I was then, and same with Dan, put that in to the prestige, my rank, Dan's rank, and anyone else in CTP, it could be a case of finishing rank is unfairly advantaged. So it's just a case of like keeping that separate. It is a very good idea for, as you said, the competitive scene. And obviously, if anybody was just unfamiliar with the situation.
Yeah. So what? And the other part is, and I think this confuses some people, is like, why do all the CCP videos tend to drop at the same time? And the answer, of course, is, well, they give us access to the champions and they want us to take the time to test them. Because if they just gave us the champions, it would just be a race to see who could put out a video in the next hour, right? And it wouldn't be very well thought out. So we get access, in this case, we got access to the beta, and then we were given a deadline, not a deadline, we were given a release date. It's like, at this point, you can release videos on Guardian, and at this point you can release videos on Sasquatch. Now, because of how YouTube works and everyone wants to be first, everyone has their videos ready to go to automatically set to go live. That's why you see all the videos come out the same day and usually the same hour. So what happened with Sabretooth was, and this is one of those cases where it was a unique new situation, right? Like everyone released their Guardian videos. And then people started looking at Sasquatch and they saw that Sabretooth synergy, right? And it came up and said, well, the question was asked, can we release videos that showcase a synergy that requires Sasquatch if we're not actually playing Sasquatch before the embargo date? And that was fine. And then you saw Karate Mike's video about about Sabretooth using the Sasquatch synergy, and Seaton did the same thing, and this was over the weekend, last week, and then Sabretooth suddenly became the new Abyss champ in like a day, and everyone got very, very excited, right? Because there was huge damage. Even if it wasn't maybe practical, people got very, very excited. And then to further complicate things, Sabretooth had just been in the featured arena, and champions that have just been in the featured arena get a run in the Cavalier Crystals on the Sunday following their arena. So suddenly you've got all this Sabretooth hype, and you've got him in the featured Cavaliers. So that's kind of how things like got to like a super hype point in like 24 hours last weekend over Sabretooth.
Yeah, man, it was
crazy.
It was crazy. It was because then Kabam have got to go look at the numbers. That's the thing. Like I don't know if there's like a huge amount of blame on Kabam's point. If I remember rightly, the situation with Mr. Sinister back in the day was when that champion was released. They had the situation of if you had Suicide Masteries and you threw an SP1, you were able to, I think it was just like accumulate the damage.
You could throw the suicide damage at your opponent, right?
Yeah. It was mega. It was like a mega amount of damage. It was kind of like, I can't remember back how much it was. Like, it was literally like hundreds of thousands. I think it was hundreds of thousands of damage just in one big hit. And they had to like change that. But I think there was big questions that were raised on Kabam based on, not making a decision as quickly as possible to kind of like sort that out, and why they allowed that to go into I think it was a case it just went live in that state, and Kabam had to change that very quickly.
Yeah,
I guess a similar thing has been in this kind of situation.
Yeah,
I guess
but I mean the good news is this got caught before it ever went on the live servers.
Yeah,
which I think is a really good thing. I mean that's part of what these betas and the CCP should be doing, like putting out these videos asking, okay, is this really intended? Because no one has Sasquatch yet. So it wasn't like someone, I think most people have Sabretooth that would consider using this synergy, but they don't have Sasquatch. So at least this got cleared up before Sasquatch early access bundles and Cavaliers in the arena. So I'm happy about that. I think where it got a little weird was at first like, all right, it's a bug, and then they sort of changed that, and they eventually decided to cap him at 30 Furies, which is still more than he was able to maintain before. So it seems like we had a happy ending to the Sabretooth saga. Yeah,
I know that there was some people that felt differently to this synergy being addressed. It's a very difficult one to balance between if this was a case where, what do people want? Do they want Kabam to put stuff out and go, like in a week's time, everyone's just ranked up the champions, and now everything's got to change. So Kabam would be
really bad.
Yeah, like Kabam would have to offer rank down tickets, resource changes, and it's more of like a hefty amount of work for Kabam to kind of situate to do, and as well that kind of like. I wouldn't say it's like trust, but it's the kind of the...
No, it is a little bit.
Yeah.
So it definitely leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you get really excited and you're like, I'm going to invest in Sabretooth, I'm going to go get Sasquatch, I'm going to jump in the Abyss, I'm going to move my account forward, and then you feel like, the rug is ripped out from under your feet.
Yeah.
So it did get cleared up very quickly. It's just... I think the community moves like so fast, right? Yeah. Like we're just like, what's going on? Yeah, and Kabam's like, well, it's Sunday, it's our day off, and then they come into the not in the office on Monday, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, let's investigate, let's figure this out over the course of the day, and we're just like refresh on the forums, like give me an answer. So it's kind of crazy because we as a community we move very fast on these things, and it was definitely the story for 48 hours or so.
Yeah, I mean something that's a current story at the moment that is causing frustration in some areas, not so much frustration in others. A very delicate thing to talk about.
Yeah,
and it's one thing that I'm very vocal on how I feel about Alliance Wars, and that is what it is. Alliance Wars, the rating compression, which started on July 6th, has really been different. I can't say it's like it's good or it's bad, because it's good and it's bad. It's bad.
There's winners and losers in this system. There's no way around that.
Yeah,
for sure.
We're both experiencing the good side of things when it comes to matchmaking. and it's weird because I've experienced bad matchmaking for the last year. I don't think for the last 12 months I've had any decent matchmaking in alliance wars, and it's made that I've been able to jump tiers. I know you've jumped tiers, haven't you?
Yeah, we went from 5 to 3 over the course of a few wars.
Yeah,
it was pretty remarkable. And we're not super excited to be in tier 3.
No, exactly.
on the harder map. We got there and we're like, oh boy, maybe we flew a little too close to the sun there. That expert map's no joke.
That's
the thing. That's the thing. So let's just break down what happened. So Kabam changed the matchmaking to take prestige out of the equation. So you're now you're matched based on war rating. So whenever you people on the forums like, well, how am I matched with? I'm a 20 million alliance. How did I get matched with a 40 million alliance? It doesn't make sense. It's like, well, your war ratings are exactly the same. That's the computer's not looking at the other stuff. So that's why that's happening. And the reason why that changed is because you used to get bracketed by your prestige, right? So you could be, say, a 9K prestige alliance in Gold 1, but you'd never face any of the 10K prestige alliances in Gold 1, even though you had the same war rating and you were competing for the same rewards. So you had all these different sort of sub tiers within the reward zones where it's like, well, is this cluster of alliance is playing each other, and then this cluster is playing each other, and then that cluster can play each other, but none of those clusters ever intermingle, even though they're all supposed to be fighting it out for the same rewards. So that's what got taken away.
Do you think a lot of this stems from... Okay, so Alliance, obviously, it's all about prestige. It's all about, players being as competitive as possible. Top alliances are either kind of going, okay, so we're doing Alliance War, or we're not doing Alliance War. Right. And then there's certain players that maybe get disenfranchised at the top level and go, okay, well, do you know what we're going to do? Either our Alliance number one says we're going to focus on Alliance quest maps and grinding out the most kind of difficult stuff. Or people go, they maybe get disenfranchised with the game and go, right, well, I'm gonna join a lower alliance. Many players kind of jump around, and obviously you've then got like this narrative, like everybody is in an alliance based on where they're at the game, either very competitive, taking it easy, or focusing on alliance quest. As a result, the way that the prestige would have been worked is that, okay, well, that works out. Everyone's kind of fighting correctly against where they are. If you're doing alliance wars a little bit, maybe you're kind of like a huge prestige person. Like, for example, if you are Seaton says, right, I don't want to play quite as much, but I maybe want to do alliance wars, does it at a lower level, but many other players follow suit. And obviously prestige is based on where it is. Yep. So the war ratings would obviously be a little bit, I don't know, all over the place.
Right, because then you've got these high prestige alliances at low war ratings.
Yeah. And now it's kind of like it's from that all changing. Is this going to then bring a culture of people now about to jump around? So say after the season, you might find players going, they're either going to go up or they'll go down again, or go like, right, well, I had the envisionment I was going to be in a Platinum 4 alliance. Now it's a case because I'm losing so many times, we're then going to be down to a Gold 2 alliance. And
yeah, I mean, I think that's going to happen, certainly, because you, for whatever period of time this was going on, call it the last 6 months or so, people became accustomed to a certain level of rewards that for some of these lower prestige alliances that were, say, creeping into Gold 1, Plat 4, Plat 3, they're not going to have access to anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the competition is now working, they're going to get bumped down. And that's why so many of them, understandably, are upset right now. So I assume you'll see some of that. But again, it's hard to jump up if your prestige is low.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many alliances where it's like, we don't care about prestige at all, but we're gonna just absolutely floor it with alliance war, right?
Yeah.
Like that is not. It's much more common to see the other. To say we're going to push AQ really, really hard, and whatever we get with war, we get, because you're going to need the big amounts of glory from AQ to fund your war, unless you're just spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this is all shaking out. Everyone's got to sort of acclimate to a new normal.
Yeah, I don't know really what, this will be. I don't know, say at the end of the like Alliance War, this current season.
Yeah, season 19.
What it's going to do for the I hate kind of using terms like this, but the ecosystem of alliance-based participation, because it's going to be shot to. I was going to say shot to shit. It is going to be shot to shit.
Well, a lot of people are certainly frustrated while this whole thing shakes out. That's why they had to cut the war rating to make that process happen a lot faster, right? To get the higher tier and the lower tier alliances away from each other as quickly as possible. Like, clearly they knew that something like this was going to happen. That's why they preemptively cut the war rating.
Yeah,
that's the only explanation. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a much better system once it all shakes out. And if I can steal a quote from DNA 3000, because I think he summed everything up really, really well on the forums. The last version of Alliance War matchmaking was fair wars, but unfair competition.
Yeah.
And what we currently have now is unfair wars for the most part, but we have fair competition because everyone actually has to play each other if you want to move up. So I think once this shakes out, everything's going to be okay. But I really do feel for the alliances that are just running into these stacked defenses that they really have no business challenging, and if they're really trying to clear them, the items they're spending are pretty ridiculous. But at the same time, like, now that I see how messed up the old matchmaking system was, and we smoked a couple of Plat 4 alliances that were way lower in prestige than us in the past week, and it's kind of like, why were you guys getting Plat 4? Like, I don't say that to like take shots at those alliances. Is not their fault. They were playing the hand that they were dealt. They weren't rigging matchmaking. It's just it's not their fault. It's just the old matchmaking system was horribly flawed.
Yeah, it's very weird for me as somebody that's not a fan. Excuse me, a fan of Alliance Wars. Full stop. It's still Alliance Wars. Yeah.
At the end of the day.
I mean, like today, I just trying to remember the situation. Like, I faced off against 3 Black Widow Clairvoyants on my paths. Like, my entire path was Black Widow Clairvoyants, and I just like to Black Widow Clairvoyant suicides are with Flow and what is it called? It's not Steady something or other, is it? I'm just trying to find it. Like, after a while, it just kind of like, it just, that still does my head in. But
you really have to think about every fight, and you can't go in these days and be like, this is my war team. Like, have the same 3 champions and just run your lane. It doesn't work like that. You have to look at every single fight, and I'm running Path 5, which is that ebb and flow in Tier 1. And this war... first fight was a hit monkey, and I'm just looking at it, it's like, why did they put hit monkey there? What do they know that I don't know? And of course he clears those debuffs, and he can go unblockable, and I managed to get him, but and then of course I had the classic ebb and flow Darkhawk after that. But you're just like, okay, why did they think to place this guy here? Like, it's not random. You're just every war, you're just like, what am I going to learn? And hopefully I won't die in the process.
Yeah, I mean, from like what I don't.
It's joyful, Rich.
I mean, it's another situation where I don't want to. I don't know, like throw shade at people in Alliance Wars, because like I see as we're all in this together and we're all in the shit together. But there's questionable things like this alliance we're facing off against. We're capable enough that we won't. We'll either draw. There's good enough defender and attack bonus there that we'll if we draw, we will win on our diversity, and like they've done well enough to get through us, but we will win on diversity because like it's like somebody's copy and pasted about 3 or 4 times with the same champions. Like I said, me facing off against 3 Black Widow clairvoyants. I'm seeing 2 warlocks, and I'm pretty certain I've seen like loads of duplicates of various others.
Oh, sure.
And that's the thing. I understand, obviously, and they did take a couple of my champions, but I've been putting a lot of work in. I've been putting more work in this time and actually playing well. So
a lot of work, but also a lot of items, and I don't know about your alliance, but like our death count is just through the roof, even when we're winning.
Yeah, and what we're on now hasn't been that bad. I think this one we're 49 to their 78. And they've got...
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, they got 12 more 13 more champions yet to take down.
Yeah.
And we have got a further 39 to take down. So, 29 to take down.
Yeah. So there's still some more deaths to come. I mean, that's just a lot of items to use to clear that map.
Yeah.
That's so rough.
But it's just it's a very weird thing with war. It's the first time I've rather than going I beep and hate war right now.
Yeah.
I've gone I still dislike war, but it's because obviously there's change in the matchmaking situation, which, as I said, as we both agreed, it's beneficial for some and it's horrible for others. And I mean that DNA 3000 quote you said a moment ago, it puts us into the picture. But I'm still at a point we're going. At the end of this war, everybody is going to start jumping around. It's going to be House of Pain, jump around.
Oh, yeah.
Because people want to get the best rewards. And the rewards have not been buffed for those that are Gold 1, Gold 2.
No, they haven't. And like you said, people do jump and chase rewards. And unfortunately, that's what ends up breaking up alliances in a lot of cases.
I mean, for me, I wasn't really bothered about the competitive edge to Alliance Wars, especially because I was like, well, most of the time I'm finishing Gold 1. Last season was a travesty, and I was kind of bummed about finishing Gold 2, and I was like, I'll go Alliance 3. However, though, I thought I actually forgot to kind of hand in my notice effectively, and I decided to just rough it out and see what the matchmaking would bring, and for me, it's gathered a lot more 5-star and 6-star shards so far. A good season end, say if we even get we're doing well in Platinum 4. If, and this is a big if, we manage to get by an amazing chance a Platinum 3 finish, I would be absolutely over the moon. And that gives an opportunity to propel my roster forward with getting access to those tier 5 class catalysts. It's just disappointing to see that Gold 1 and Gold 2, which this season is going to be an absolute pain for them, because they're going to be the ones that would normally have finished Plat 4, Plat 3.
Right. Not going they're going to spend more and get less.
Yeah, and I feel for them.
There's no way around that.
I can only say that I hope that Kabam look at Alliance Wars in future and look at obviously matchmaking situation is what it is, but maybe look at this as maybe when they need to do something that's different. Maybe it's a case of Alliance Wars gets replaced by something. I don't know, but because there was part in the dev diary they were going to look at the Alliance War future, but it didn't really give us much of an idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think my takeaway from the first week or so of Alliance War is I'm interested right now.
Yes.
But I'm not having fun yet.
Yes.
But I am interested. So I guess before, when you consider I was just in this Alliance War malaise, just make it stop, I'm definitely spending more mental energy thinking about Alliance War right now, and there's a couple cool defender placements that I've enjoyed torturing some poor people with.
I've not checked, and I mean you're an officer, so you got the kind of like
yeah.
I don't know what to call it. Like you've got the ability to I don't know, to rough people up or kind of like do stuff. It's one of these things where I just want to like you want to check the info of like the champions, and you just want to like see who's doing who or what is doing the best. But it's just like, oh god. You know, because you're like, oh, should I put this on there and ruin someone's day as well?
Yeah.
That's
have you been running Stubborn, or are you still running Flow?
I'm not sure. That's the thing. I don't really check it. I mean, I'm not really well up with the leadership. I let the leadership do their thing, rather than actually
gotcha
participate. I mean, I was gonna have a quick check.
Yeah, these tactics are no joke now.
We're doing Stubborn. You're
doing Stubborn. Yeah. There's some nasty interactions there.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable things going on. Like, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't really talk too much about war because this is the first time I've talked about war more than anything. And it's like, I don't know, it's like a lane not being taken down. I don't. It's questionable. We kind of like didn't do the center in the war, first war that we.
Oh yeah, we're skipping a few lanes. Yeah, we're skipping a few lanes this war. It's too expensive to go all out 12 times, especially when you're at a higher tier than you've been at in a long, long time.
Crazy. Right, we've got to move on to another topic. And
moving on. Alliance War is not the only game mode that had some issues last week because Alliance Quest Season 7.5 dropped.
Yes, I think this is more of something that's causing a pain point for you based on a lot of stuff with Map 7. Less so with me when it comes to like Map 6.
Yeah, I think the Map 7 folks, and we only played one day of Map 7. So we didn't take the worst of the Map 7 issues because we only ran one BG one day. And we did not run an epic modifier during that day. Although my heart does go out to my alliance mate Shrimpkins, who did have to get through the acid wash Hulkbuster, which has now been removed from the map. I don't know if you're aware of this, Rich. There's no champions that deal poison and are immune to shock.
Oh God, no! I'm just trying to quickly think.
Yeah, because every time because Hulkbuster will shock you on defense, so it's not good. It's not good. Oh, no. But I think really the people who got hurt last week were those people probably in the top 20 or so that were going to go Map 7 5 days and run the epic mods all 5 days because they needed to maintain their standings. And some of these mods are like really, really specific, particularly like So Saith Doom, which basically required you to bring Fantastic Four members, or you had to jump through all these hoops of prompts, which Brian Grant delightfully illustrated in his 30-minute takedowns of the acid wash path.
God damn.
So it was just some crazy stuff, and some groups were tapping out, some groups were iteming out, and I think because several of them were already nerfed by the end of the week, like we didn't even make it through a whole week before they were nerfed. That's how bad this was. So it really, it's not a good look for Kabam as to how these AQ modifiers were tested.
This is the
because
thing.
It doesn't seem like they were tested in context.
Absolutely.
That's my big takeaway is these modifiers were so specific. Yeah.
My kind of takeaway and point on this is that Kabam have got this in the last 2 weeks to 3 weeks. I think actually in the last 2 weeks, a lot of the stuff that they've been putting into the game, or a lot of the stuff that they had pre-planned or pre-built prior to the Maygate situation. Seems to be
the feedback.
The feedback. They've decided they're just going to push this onto the game and then adapt it as they go, which I don't know if it was a wise idea to do so. It's a bit of I understand that they've developed this stuff, they've worked hard on this stuff, but it doesn't represent what's going on with the game. Is it more hassle and doesn't do them, as we both kind of agreed on, the positive for the community by going, oh yeah, this is a bit too much, let's change this. It's like, well, did you need to put this in this current state in the first place to guinea pig us? Couldn't you have just gone, right, well, look, this is a good idea for us to put in. It's very specific. It's a bit overkill. Should we have A, not put this in the game to begin with, or B, put it in but put it at a lesser potency with stuff like So Safe Doom, Cascading Failure, etc., etc., and also the champions, because that's something that I kind of picked up on. I mean, even though I was doing map 6, what was it? The Cascading Failure, going up against, and I can't remember what it is, what the node is, but we talked about this, the idea that you degen for 50% of your health, I think, and then you regain that back. If you're doing a lot of pressure on the enemy, then if you get up a hill block, then you'll lose. You
don't get your health back.
You don't get your health back. And it's like, because I was like, first of all, kind of doing it. And I thought, oh shit, I'm being a bit too aggressive. Oh, heal blocks on. Oh shit, I've got that node on. Oh shit, I've got no health. Right,
that heal block's just such a deadly debuff to acquire during Alliance Quest, because we're all just so reliant on regen. Like that's why everyone used to play. Remember the first version of AQ where Ultron was king?
Oh yeah.
Right? And Wolverine, right? It was 4-star Wolverine and 4-star Ultron, and Doctor Strange because of regen.
Yeah, I think I used my Scarlet Witch as well. She was pretty powerful back in the day.
Oh yeah. But I think the reason that I think a lot of people are upset is the community ended up being the beta test for this, and it was pretty much an immediate nerf, which tells you how far outside the realm of norm and expectations these epic modifiers were. Like they were just way overtuned. It was immediately obvious to everyone. There wasn't this real like, oh, let's like see after a couple weeks. Like no one was like, oh, you'll get used to it. You know, there wasn't that sort of pushback on the forums. Like everyone just understood like these are just way too specific. The interactions and how they're combining with the nodes and particularly for map 7, like they just didn't make sense. And it's this alliance stuff is just so tricky, but I think they really have to test things like this how we would test it, right? Like you can't just go in and say like, all right, I'm going to throw like this node and this epic modifier and this defender, and I'll just pick a champ and go in and test it. Oh, it looks good, right? Like, because that's not how we play it. You need to pick 10 people and you do assign lanes and try to run the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's how you test AQ, and that's what we did for them this week. Yeah, I mean that's basically my big takeaway for the week is the map 7 epic modifier people ended up being live beta testers, and they do deserve some compensation. So I hope that sometime during this week that is indeed issued.
Yeah, I think that would be good to kind of honor that particular situation. The beta testing it, which we're theoretically doing, isn't cool. I don't know what I think it's just someone at Kabam needs to just be very conscious of it. Just like just ask the question: is this what we're gonna send out to the community? Is it in keeping with what has been said in the last, say, 2 months?
Right. Because one of the big things was timing out in AQ is not fun, and then people were timing out more than ever last week because it was their only viable strategy. It's not like people were failing because they weren't reading nodes or they didn't have the rosters. it was just the interactions were just too crazy. I mean, when you talk about the footage that we were seeing from top 20 alliances, like if these modifiers weren't intended for those people, who were they intended for?
Yeah, it's not good. It's not
No.
good. Right, is there anything else we should be talking about?
No, I think we talked about all the fun and games that occurred last week, but it looks like we're kind of headed into, other than Northern Expeditions Week 4, a little bit of a slower week until we get the August update and the first July boss rush on the 29th.
Yeah. I think we'll kind of ride out the hype of the 2 new champions until about, I don't know, Monday. I'll probably do like a deep dive video on like comic book history on them, and then I think you're right. Then Northern Expeditions finished on the 22nd of July, and then it'll be a case of just waiting for the announcement of the boss rushes, which I would guess will come in. Well, we'll probably see an announcement either Wednesday the 22nd or Friday the 24th.
Yep.
And then we'll probably have announcements for the following month. And
yeah, I think the new EQ, the August EQ doesn't go live until August 5th.
Yeah.
There's an extra week. It's a 5-week month, so we probably won't know about August stuff until, say, the 31st or so of July.
So I guess that's the thing. If you're planning to do anything in game, get on with it now whilst you got a quiet period of time.
Yeah, before all these boss rushes and variant 5 drops and we get Herald difficulty, so there is a lot coming.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to be excited. Dan, what are you up to next week?
Oh, just going to finish up Master and Uncollected, almost done with that. And then really get to work in Canadian difficulty and nice. Working on my second account, completing Act 1. And I just hit level 17, which means I can play Alliance Quest on my baby account. So maybe some map 2 highlights.
Nice.
Yes.
I think I'm going to be focusing on news as always, but I'm going to do my Labyrinth of Legends 100% guide. I'll probably do about 3 videos associated with that, other champions, keeping in the idea of the current meta. Also, maybe a variant 3 guide and push that through to get that done.
Oh,
and
cool.
maybe like a little video, little videos here and there, and just kind of like ride out the week, which will probably be, again, focusing on the future and preparation for stuff as well. So yeah, it's all good.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we top it off with our incursions on a Friday. Make sure you follow Dan's YouTube channel and my Twitch channel for streams of that. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. And that's 4 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. What time is it for you? It's like 9 o'clock?
9 p.m. In the evening in the UK.
All right.
So see you all there. Thanks for tuning on in, everybody. Make sure to hit us up on Spotify and as well on SoundCloud. Make sure to follow them, to click the follow button on them, obviously, just so you get notified when we release something. And as well, obviously, on iTunes podcast, we're on there. And we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.